Hi guys, welcome back to Blackboard Conversations. And today I have the honor of having Monica Scott, the author of Browni Locks and the Three Combs. So it is a fractured fairy tale. I'm super excited about this interview and this conversation about this book. So Miss Scott, can you jump in and tell us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you became a writer?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. I appreciate the opportunity. So I'm Monica Scott, and originally I'm a Georgia girl, born and raised. And my husband and I have been living in Indiana for 10 years. And so it's really been a nice change, different pace. And so yeah, we're part Georgia, part Midwestern.
Yeah, what
But
part of Georgia?
so my home is near Macon, Georgia, in Edenton, and then my husband is from Augusta, Georgia.
Okay, from the deep south. I'm from originally from Mississippi, so
Okay, okay, yes.
yes, the south. So
I heard your accent. I was like, oh, she's a Southern girl.
yes, I'm a Southern girl. That accent ain't going
Yep.
no
It's
matter
like our
how much I
badge,
try.
right?
Yes, yes, it's no matter what. So, what inspired you to become a writer? To write this book?
Well, you know what? Since I was in elementary school, honestly, I love writing stories and drawing pictures. And I actually still have like my first little story that I wrote that my mom typed up for me. And it was about like this woman that ended up marrying the pizza delivery guy. But I've always loved words and how words have different shades of meaning, and it's just another way to express yourself. And so with this story, Brownie Locks and the Three Combs, what really motivated this for me was my hair challenges and my journey to healthy hair. And so, like a lot of Black women, I struggle with knowing how to care for my hair. And so once I got to the point where I got locks,
Hmm.
it made me realize, why am I just learning that my hair can do this at this age? Like, why didn't I know about this when I was younger? And so that desire really motivated me to want to share that information with other people, with young girls, to say, hey, if you're struggling with your hair and you still want to keep it natural, this is an option and it works.
Yes, I'm so glad that you brought that up because growing up, probably in the 90s and stuff, it wasn't the going thing to lock your hair. Or even in the early 2000s, it just wasn't the going thing, lock your hair, or even going natural. And so when that phase started to come back around, I was excited because I got tired of perming my hair. It's a lot to manage our hair. And when I started my journey of understanding my hair, learning my hair, what's good for it, what's not good for it, it definitely started growing by leaps and bounds. And I locked my hair about 3 years, 2020, March of 2020 is when I locked my hair. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay, I'm tired of managing this afro. Let's try something else. And it was a great option. And now I have my daughter asking me, Mommy, can I lock my hair? Can I lock my hair? And so I'm excited about that because as a little girl growing up, you didn't know all the options. They didn't provide any options. It made it seem like your hair has to be straight and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's not how our hair is made. And that's why some of us run into other issues with our hair, keeping it healthy because we spent so long trying to straighten it rather than understand it and how to keep it healthy. So I appreciate that. When did you start your journey with locks?
So actually, I started in my locks were established in January of 2020. So
We started at the same time.
same year, yep, same year. So, but it just blew my mind though. I didn't know that, like, even my loctician, when I went and I did my research and all that, and her hair is just, she's had locks for I think 15 years. So her hair is like just, it's long. And I just still remember thinking, her hair can do that, but my hair can't do that. And it's just because, we don't understand our hair. We don't know what our hair can do. And so this journey has just really opened my eyes and helped me be so much more confident in the person I am naturally. Like, I don't have to have 500 products to make my hair look presentable. I can
No.
wake up and go with water, you know?
Yes, wake up and go, because like you said, with us understanding our hair, it brings about another sense of confidence that we didn't have before because we just wasn't comfortable with um taking care of it, because there was nothing out there saying that your hair is okay to be this way. And so we were feeling like, oh my gosh, if my hair's starting to wave up or it's starting to curl
Yeah.
up, it's time to straighten it a little bit. Like, no, it can't have that. And it's such a beautiful thing now for us to embrace our hair, because as Black women, our hair is our crown. Like, we will change our hair based on our mood. So it's so important. And I appreciate you for creating this book. Me and my daughter, when we got in the mail, we sat down and read it. And she was like, Mommy, this little girl has locks like you. And of course, since she wants locks, she was locked into the book. But this is definitely a Fractured Fairy Tale spinoff from Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So tell us how you came about with this title. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, I definitely wanted locks in the title, just to kind of give it a play on words.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the three combs could be, in the original classic fairy tale, she's trying different things and nothing works, except for the babies.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted this to kind of represent all the things that we do and experiment with, with our hair. And just thinking about myself in my journey, my hair was straightened since I was in elementary school. And then I started doing my own hair, doing my own perms, and just trying all these different things. And so my hair is so damaged. Even when I started locks, I started it on damaged hair. So it just kind of, the three combs represents all the things we try, that still don't work for us. They don't work for us, which, not saying that locks is the only option, but it is an option if those other things are.
Yeah, for me, when I was thinking about the three cones, it symbolizes, like you said, the different things that we try out to figure out what works for my hair, like all the different things. And like the main character in the book, you could see how she was becoming frustrated, a little defeated because of the process. And thinking about little girls going through the hair combing process that are Black, that is not a fun process for some of them because it hurts. You have to detangle it. You got to find the right products to make sure you can detangle it. It's an easier process for them. So I totally identify with this because I went through the hot comb stage when I was a little girl. You getting burnt. So yes, I wanted to focus on your dedication page because I felt like this is such a beautiful thing. How you dedicated this book basically to yourself and to wish and to know about your hair. You said whatever hair type you have, embrace it. It is yours. I hope this somewhat true story about a young girl's wild hair journey can give you a few giggles and laughs with its upbeat southern cast and make your big bad hair day not so bad. I was like, this is beautiful. This is not in a lot of fictional takes where we're just celebrating young girls and their hair and basically their identity of who they are. And so I appreciate you for putting that part into the book. But tell me about how you came about choosing your characters. And some of them it's funny. Some of the characters you have here, the grandma, the grandpa. So how did you come up with the characters in the book?
I thought about it a lot, and I have kind of like a little sense of humor, and I wanted that to come through too. And like I said, I'm a Southern girl, and so I just wanted it to be relatable in that way. So I wanted the aunt, I wanted each of them to have something different with their hair. So the aunt has the rollers. Everyone has the aunt that always has her hair like, do you ever have your rollers not in your hair?
And then I see you got the grandpa with the fro and the Hawaiian open shirt with the
with the knee high socks.
Knee high socks. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I just want them to have personality. Fun personalities. And I think even though they were trying different things for her, you can still see the love. Like they were just doing it. They just wanted to help her. Like when your mom or your aunt straighten your hair, they're just doing it out of love. They're just trying to help you. But, here's another option. So I didn't want them to be bad or mean, so I really just tried to add the humor to soften that lesson.
Also, I noticed that you're your own illustrator to your book. So it's not a lot of authors who illustrate their own books. But what led you to be like, I'm going to do my own illustrations?
Well, money, one thing. And honestly, initially, I didn't know if I could do it. Like, I remember drawing and painting in high school, and then all this time went by. And really, the pandemic was a blessing in that way because I had a little more time at home. And so I started doing it as a hobby just for my, mental peace and to try to stay healthy mentally, find me something to do at home. So I watched some YouTube videos about how to do digital illustrations. So I'm a self-taught illustrator. And so one of my friends has a book that she did. So I was like, let me illustrate your book to see if I can do it. And so she let me illustrate her book. It was a children's book. And she wasn't very, picky about how it would be, but it's like, I just needed to see if I could do it. Mm-hmm. And her book came out much better than I expected. So I was like, okay, Browni Locks. Cause I already had the story. I'm like, I think I can do it. Mm-hmm. So it really was my first big project because my friend hasn't published her book yet. Mm-hmm. But, and it also gave me just the freedom to tell the story how I wanted it to be told. Mm-hmm. I still need to improve. Like there are some things that just because of my skill level, I wasn't able to do because I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. But for my first author illustrator project, I mean, I'm pretty proud of it though. I'm like, I did okay,
Pretty good. You did pretty good. You did an awesome job capturing her hair journey. I love the part of the book where they're flying. It looks like they're flying in the car and her hair has all these different products, combs, hot comb, flat irons in it. Yeah. But it's the true essence of what a Black girl goes through with trying to figure out her hair, or when their family is trying to figure out what works best for her hair. And also there was one part in here where she's getting her hair hot combed. Do you have a hot comb story that you want to share? Because you have it where she's standing there with the mirror and she's getting her hair hot combed by her aunt or whomever. I know I have a hot comb story.
I do. So, in the South, and so my mom, I remember she was finishing her nursing degree. Uh-huh. And so what she would do is like she would hot comb our hair, and then our aunts would braid it up on the weekend. And I'm just like, I was tender-headed. So I just remember, and I'm like, maybe I was a drama queen, but I just remember sitting in the kitchen in that chair, like, just hearing the sizzle. I'm like, that was pretty traumatic, but it's just, you accept it. It's a part of growing up, Mm-hmm. And I remember, so I remember getting it straightened when I was in elementary school. And then when I was in middle school, that's kind of when she started taking me to the salon with mm-hmm. her and getting it permed. And which my hair was still pretty healthy then, but I think in high school when I kind of took the reins in my own hands, mm-hmm. that's when I was just permanent too frequently. And then now when I look back, I'm like, those chemicals why was that okay to put those chemicals? It's just, so I just, feel I've gotten an education in my hair, what's good and what isn't. And, just letting it be natural is healthier. You're not causing other damage, to your skin, mm-hmm. to your scalp, just letting it be. And it does well,
Yes, it does well. And it actually grows more. Mm-hmm. It grows more, it grows faster. When people ask me, when did you lock your hair? And I was like, March of 2020. Really? And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything to it. I might go get it retwisted once every 2 months or so, or maybe 3 months, depending on how I feel. But
Yeah.
I have the freedom to do that because I'm not messing with it. I'm not adding so many different products to it to where I need to manipulate it so much. And it's freeing. It's so freeing to not have to worry about it. So, oh my gosh. And then also coming through the book, going through here, you kind of have what's the word for it? You kind of do a little, not a cameo, but of not Goldilocks, Rapunzel. You have
Oh,
her in a
yes.
tower with Rapunzel, like a Rapunzel rendition where her locks are flowing down from the tower. So, with that, do you think you're going to create a series of books from this text? Because that would be a good follow up using
Yeah.
Rapunzel's rendition with Goldie with Brownie Locks.
You know what? That's an excellent idea. My goal, was to create a whole series where the main character is a young Black character with tiny locks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never thought about the Rapunzel take, so thanks for that idea.
Yeah, I saw her in the tower. I was like, she added Rapunzel, the little Rapunzel take in there too. That's beautiful. And I was thinking the whole time, I was like, I wonder is she gonna do like a Rapunzel twist after this book? Would you do a Rapunzel twist to it? I think would be an awesome twist because the little girl in this book, towards the end, she grows those long sister locks. And they're very long, and then you have her in the tower anyway, so why
Might
not?
as well, yeah.
Pretty good. So, how has this process of writing changed when you publish your book? I know you probably wrote before. Well, let me back up because you have this journal writing thing that you do on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
And I love it. I can sit there and watch it for days because I'm a teacher. How did you come about doing that? She writes these graphic organizers on there, y'all. Different little graphic organizers, different little doodles she does on pages. How did you start out doing that?
So I enjoy studying. I feel like I said, I have an affinity for words. It's important to know how to express yourself or communicate with other people. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always enjoyed learning. So I do studying a lot. And so because I don't have time to practice my art as much, I try to incorporate my art into my note taking. So that's kind of where that comes from. So I actually have some notebooks where I did the art, the cover art. And so I do sell those as well. So one of the notebooks has this girl with really, I just wanted to highlight those features, but she has really high cheekbones and she has braids. And then the other notebook has kind of my rendition of my great grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
who had very dark brown skin, which I loved. And her name was Cordelia. And she wore this like little red hat. So I did the other notebook kind of has my rendition of her on the cover. So I kind of do my notebook art to kind of let people know about my notebooks that I have available also.
Saying that you said that words have power, what is the most powerful novel that you've read or underrated novel that you have read to date that you feel like contributed to you really falling in love with being a writer, a reader, a studier? What novel would that be?
So I'm going to keep it real classic. And I think the lesson is powerful, but one of my favorite authors is Jane Austen. Um, and I love her book, Pride and Prejudice. And I think the reason is because it helped me as a young Black girl to see I have the same thoughts that she does.
Mm-hmm.
So it just helped me to see it's an even playing field. Like we think the same, we look at life the same, and then just the lessons that she taught in her book. So it's just like I'm a fan because not because of who she is, but I resonate with how she tells stories. And I think that's something that can be very unifying is taking the color out of it. Like we're all part of the same family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we realize that we think the same, we enjoy the same things, we're all part of one family, then that was powerful for me, in helping me to see what I could achieve and what I could do.
Yes, I read parts of Pride and Prejudice. I haven't read the whole entire thing. What would be your favorite part of that book?
Um, I just think whenever I'm reading her work,
Mm-hmm.
I can see it like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I love how she can tell a story in a way that you don't realize you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just love the fact that, you know, because it's about being judgmental and sizing people up without really getting to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens so much. So I think that's another lesson too that is taught me. It's just everybody does it, even though they shouldn't. So just get to know people. So that was the lesson for me. Get to know people. Mm.
I love it. I love it. So, what is one myth about authors that look like us or other authors out here since you've started this journey of being an author? What is one myth that you've been faced with that you're like, that's not true about authors of color? Just like you said with Jane Austen, with her book, helping you to realize like we all have the same types of thoughts. If people will remove this consensus of race, we will all be able to get along better. But what is one myth? But we do know that there are myths and pre-assumed assumptions about authors of color. What is one that you faced so far?
Okay. I'll have to say I'm kind of a introspective person, so I always kind of look at myself first. And so I'll have to say the myth that I had to overcome about us is
Mm-hmm.
that there's not a lot of us,
Mm-hmm.
because there are.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many Black authors, and you know where I'm from. So my hometown is Eatonton, Georgia, and so that's actually the birth. That's where Alice Walker was raised, and she's a very famous author.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew about her for sure growing up, but I didn't know about all these other Black authors. Whose fault was that? And I say myself because it's like you have to look for stuff. It can't always be presented to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, just not recognizing that there are a lot of us out there, and we can support each other,
Mm-hmm.
like look for them. They are there.
They are, and
So
that's why I created my platform, because I'm like, they're there, they're just not in the mainstream. You have to seek out for it. You have to search for it, because a lot of authors of color, their books are not advertised or pushed as much. So you have to go out and seek it. And that's why I created this platform, so we can be out a little bit more, and hopefully I get a good following from my social media platform so that more people can see authors of color's work, and they want to buy it, and they know it's there, because it's there. It's so many different authors of color out there. I just interviewed an Indian American author. She wrote a beautiful book, but I wouldn't have known her book was out there if I didn't research and go searching for it on Instagram, and kind of made my algorithm cater towards looking for different types of authors. So that's true. If you don't look, they're there,
they're there.
but you just have to look. And if pretty much there is a person of color for pretty much any field or anything that you want to do, you just have to find it. You have to look for it. So yes, I was telling another author I talked to, my favorite author was Beverly Jenkins. As a preteen teenager, she had like these preteen novels that she came out with, and that was because I sought out for an author of color. I wanted an author of color. I was trying to find a connection with words to identify with, and at that time, and she was that author. So, and she wasn't posted on TV or she was literally, a book was sitting off to the side in Walmart. and it said Beverly Jenkins. And I looked, and then I think they had her picture in it, and it was a Black author, and that made me want to read the book.
You like sold?
Yeah, and I took it, and I was like, okay. And then after that, that's when I started trying to follow her. So you're so right about you have to seek things out. So right. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be?
Start sooner.
Hmm.
Like I said, I started playing around with it in elementary school. And after school, I did little things, like write poetry, and I've always like loved notebooks and, wrote things down, but I kind of pushed it to the side. And like I said, the pandemic kind of was a blessing in disguise, because it kind of opened up a way for me to have more time to do some of those things that I had kind of put a lid on. So I would just say, don't push it aside. And, it's a gift. It's a way to express stories. People see themselves in stories. So, put it out there. Someone can relate to it.
Yes.
But just start sooner. That would be my advice, to start sooner.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, but I want you to be able to tell everybody where they can purchase your books from and your social media handles so they can follow you, follow your work, get some of those writing journals that you have with all those graphic organizers. Tell the people where they can purchase this wonderful fractured fairy tale Browni Locks.
Yes, so Browni Locks in the 3 combs, you can go to my website, which is Browni, BROWNI, Locks, LOCKS.com. So brownilocks.com. Just go to my website. I have all my books displayed, and you can click on one and purchase it on Amazon.
Yes. Do you have an Instagram handle you would like people to follow?
Yes, my Instagram. So I try to keep it the same on all the platforms, but my Instagram is at Browni_Locks_books. So Browni Locks Books. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I share more of my hair journey and updates with my hair progress. And my YouTube channel is Browni Locks Books also. And then on TikTok, it's Browni Locks Books.
Hey. Well, guys, once again, Miss Monica Scott, go out and get her book, Browni Locks in the 3 Combs. It's an awesome book. Get out there, support all authors. Like she said, you have to seek out these authors of color. They're out there. You just have to look for it. But once again, thank you for coming on to Blackboard Conversations.
Thank you for having me, Tiffanie.